Hi, everybody. My name is Coach Lynn. I live in sunny Prescott, Arizona at about 1 mile elevations in the mountains where we actually get snow in the wintertime. And I'm here today to answer a question from Chris in Kentucky. And Chris said that he's run 7 marathons trying to qualify for Boston and sees that he loses speed around 21 miles. And even more aggravating than that, he sees people passing him who seem to be running really easily, and he notices that they've been using run-walk intervals. He wants to know my opinion about this technique for him to get a faster time and qualify for Boston. Okay, so I just completed the Buckeye Marathon last week, and I used run-walk and cut 11 minutes off my most recent marathon finish time. That's partly because it was a flat course and also partly because it was at much lower elevation than where I live. So living in the mountains really gives you some endurance benefit. However, using run walk really has a lot of benefits for folks. And I think it's worth a try, especially if you're noticing that toward the end of the race, your legs are tired, your energy is lagging, maybe you're walking because your mind is out of it or your body is telling you it just can't keep running. So it's definitely worth practicing in your training and then trying it out and using it in a race. Jeff Galloway is the runner we can thank for coming up with run-walk intervals. And the basics of it are that from the very beginning of a training run or a race, you have set run intervals and walk intervals that you use. So it might be something like run 1 minute, walk 1 minute. Maybe you run 30 seconds and walk 15 seconds. Maybe you run 4 minutes and walk 30 seconds. So there isn't one set run-walk interval that works for everybody or that works for everybody at every time or every race. So many of the runners I coach through the Marathon Training Academy use run-walk, and most of them have a variety of different run-walk intervals that they use based on how they're feeling that day, the distance that they're going, or what information they're trying to get. So sometimes it's just let me see how I feel using different intervals. So Galloway came up with this, and through using run-walk for many years with thousands of runners, he's figured out that using run-walk from the beginning will decrease fatigue, decrease muscle overuse and breakdown because you're changing up your stride a bit from the walk to the run, so you're giving your leg muscles a little bit of a break. Increases endurance overall, so if you're trying to move up from a half marathon to a marathon distance, run-walk may be really helpful for that. It can decrease injuries. I have many runners who start to use a run-walk because they've had so many injuries as a way to get themselves back into a baseline of being able to run injury-free. Some of them continue with run-walk and some of them decide to use just straight running. So it's an option that's there for people. Using run-walk will also help keep your heart rate in the desired range, especially in a marathon where we have the heart rate creep, where the longer you're out there running, the higher your heart rate gets, even at the same intensity. Using those intentional walk breaks will help to slow that heart rate creep down a bit. So my suggestion for this and this was from Chris, is to definitely give it a try in training and to see what you think. A story from my Buckeye Marathon this last weekend, I passed a gentleman who looked to be maybe 20 to 30 years younger than me. And I passed him and then he caught up to me and then I passed him again, which happens with run-walk, before I finally passed him and never saw him again. And the second time he said, "You're using run-walk intervals." And I said, "Yes, I I am. And he said, it seems like that's working really well for you. And I said, yeah, it is. And he said, I tend to walk the last 10K of every marathon I do. And as I was running by, I said, well, maybe you want to try run walk and see how that works out. And not only did I never see him again, I passed a whole bunch of people starting at about mile 16. And I never changed my pace during the entire marathon. I credit a lot of that to Run Walk. So thanks for asking that question, Chris, and good luck to everybody out there who is doing their best to qualify for Boston.